Can you confirm if I am audible?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome. Okay, let me welcome you to the introductory lecture for information management. Maybe for some of you who were present yesterday in statistical techniques, this is the second time where we are having a meeting. All right, so like James highlighted, I'll be the one who will also be taking you for information management. So let me just start by sharing, just you can see this is the table of contents of your study module, right? So basically, these are the courses. I mean, these are the subtopics that you're going to cover in this module. So today I'm just going to just give you just to explain what information management is all about, right? And then maybe touch one or two things of what is included within your study module. So this lecture is going to be a little bit difficult. I'm not saying difficult, maybe I think it's the wrong word that I used here. It's a little bit different, sorry, right? Different from statistical techniques. Why? Because statistical techniques, it is a practical module where you will be doing calculations. So basically this one now is more like a theoretical, module. But what I've structured my slides in my lecture such a way that I'll try to highlight the high points, and also I try to make my slides interactive so that you won't get bored, right? Because it is more of a theoretical course. People would think maybe we are just talking, but I try to make my slides a little bit interactive so that you can enjoy the lecture itself. So let me just share the slide now so that at least we can start. So before I go any further, if you have any questions, just make sure that just feel free to maybe put it on the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and then you can ask so that at least we can attend to the questions while at least we are continuing with lecture. All right, let me see. Okay. All right. So remember the course that you are doing, right? The course that you are doing is what? It's advanced diploma in business management. So you guys, you are into business management. So part of business management is that you deal with information, right? Information from the business itself. So what this course helps you with is how do you deal with information, or how do you manage information within a company, right? So it starts to explain various ways how you manage information within a company, right? So before we go any further, let's start by defining what information management is. So when we are talking about information management, right, in a shallow way, maybe explaining in a shallow way, I just say that it is managing information within within a company. But how do you manage it, right? Before you can manage it, you need to collect the information first. You need to store the information, you manage it, and then you maintain that information in all its forms. So the collection, the storing, the managing, the maintaining is what is called information management. So when you are collecting information, right, you are managing information. When you are storing information, you're managing information. When you're managing and maintaining information, is still part of managing information management. So it is a broad term that incorporates policies, procedures for centrally managing and sharing information among different individuals or organization, right? Or information systems. So now what this is trying to say is when you're talking about information management, there are policies and procedures that are put in place, right? And also there's what we call information systems. So I think before the age of the computers, right? People, they used to manage information physically, maybe in cabinets, right? Where they would have like files of information for whatever information that they would be dealing with in that specific company. And then they had cabinets where, they would you put those files in order so that whenever someone needs that information, they've got to put a specific file and then check it, right? But now with the advancement, right, of technology, there's now what we call information systems. So those information systems have been designed by software engineers in order to help business managers to manage information, right? So that's what they're also saying, that it incorporates information systems throughout the information life cycle. So information has got what is called a life cycle, right? So the life cycle of information itself, it starts with the creation of the information or the data, right? And then you store that data. Then when you store it, it means that you want to use it later on. Then you retrieve that data when you want it. And when you retrieve it, you use it. And then when you use it, you retire it. So this is what is called the information life cycle. All right. So you can't talk of information management without information system, right? So we want to understand the link between information management and information system. Like I said, before the age of computers, right? People had to manage information like using, the file system, right? But now people are using computerized systems. So we can't talk of information management or do a course of information management without talking of information system, because basically what we are talking about in information management is information system. So we want to understand what is the relationship, right, between information management and information system. So to understand the link between the two, you need to ask yourself this question: what is information? Right? And then the next question that you need to ask yourself again is, how can I manage that information? When we're talking about managing the information, we're talking about collecting it, storing it, maintaining it in all its various forms, right? So to manage information, you need to know classifying, one, you need to know the indexing or other librarian terms, right? That's why I was saying basically this kind of terms, right? They were used by people before this the computerized systems came into play. So if you know management, you can build and use information systems in order to help manage that information. So instead of you using the physical system that was used back then of physical cabinets, right? You can take advantage of information systems that can help manage that information. So what you just have to do is you go on your computer, there is a software that will help you with managing information. So there are various types of information systems, right? We're going to talk about them later on, depending on the specialization of the company, depending on the department itself. So you don't have one single information system, right? You have various of them depending on the task at hand, right? So now let's define what information system is. So information system is a combination of hardware, software, and telecommunication networks that people build and use for collecting, storing, and processing data, and for providing information, knowledge, and digital products. So an information system, it is a combination of hardware. When you're talking about hardware, right, you can see, okay. So everyone who's seeing me now, it's either you're seeing me on a computer or you're seeing me on a tablet or a phone. So what you need to know is your phone or your computer, whatever gadget that you are using to watch me on, right? It has these three components. It has hardware, it has software, it has telecommunication networks. So the hardware, that is the chips. When you open the, maybe for those phones or that you can be able to open at the back, right? You can see that there's a battery, there's some chips that are there, the physical part of it, right? That is the hardware. The hardware, like the screen and the chips that you can't see that are within the phone or the computer and so on. That is the hardware. Then the software now, that is the application. Like for example, this Zoom that we are using now, that is a software or any application that will be on your phone or on your computer. Then the telecommunication now, we're talking about the service, internet service providers, right? Some are using Ray, some are using Telcom, some are using Vodacom, whatever internet service provider you're using, though they are under what we call telecommunication networks. So when we are talking about information systems, it's a combination of three, right? There must be a hardware, and that hardware, it will help you can install software on that hardware, right? But for it to communicate now, because remember, sometimes people to communicate within departments or across organizations, you need a network. So it can be an intranet or it can be an internet, right? As long as there is a network, right? A network, as long as you want to communicate across departments or across organizations, you need a telecommunications network. So that is why we are saying an information system is not complete without those three components. Right? So business firms and other organizations rely on information systems to carry out and manage their operations and interact with customers and suppliers and compete in the market. So this statement, what it's saying is information system, it can help you to carry out and manage your operations, right? Then you can interact with customers. There's something called customer relationship management, but CRM, where there are softwares that will help you, right, to interact with your customers. There are also softwares that will help you to interact with suppliers. Then there are also softwares that will help you also to compete with your competitors. Because at the end of the day, a company needs to be ahead of its competitors, right? So software and technology will give you a head start, right? So that's what information systems help an organization with, right? So information systems are used to run inter-organizational supply chain and electronic markets. So organization can communicate. Like for example, a company can have various what do you call it, centers, right? One might be in Africa, maybe the headquarters will be in America. Those guys, they need to communicate, right? Because they need to share the same information. So information system there is what comes. The information systems is what helps, right? The organization with the supply chain and the electronic market system, right? So, for instance, let's say there are corporations, right, that would want to use information systems to process financial accounts, right? I've heard of something called payroll. I'm not so sure if some of you have heard that, right? Those that are into that might have a background in accounting, right? There is a software which is called payroll, which can assist accountants in doing the accounting activities, right? So rather than a person taking a ledger, a physical whatever, those books that they use, journals and what, right? What they have to do is just go on the software, right, and then punch in, and then the system itself, it generates the reports and and whatever things that they have to do, right? So information system can help corporations with processing of financial accounts. It can help with managing human resources. There's what they call human resource system, right? There's actually something called the Human Resource Information System, HRIS, right? It is an information system that is specialized in the human resources, to manage the human resources, right? And then also to reach their potential customer with online promotions, like I said, customer relationship management, right? It's another information system that is used by companies to manage their customers. So that's why I was saying you don't have a single information system. You have a wide range of information systems depending on the task at hand. If you want to deal with customer, there are information systems specialized in that. If you want to deal with supply chain, the information systems specialized in that. If you want to deal with human resources, right, there are information systems that are specialized. If you want something that will help in decision making system, there's something called decision support system, right? It's information systems that are specialized in doing that. But we are going to get into them a little bit into them later on, so that at least you can have an idea of what these various systems are. So how information systems are transforming businesses, right? So many businesses, they register their .com internet site to allow individuals to research their product or purchase their product. I think this statement, we can clearly see it now with what is happening, with the lockdown, with the coming of what you call it, of COVID, right? An example, I know it's not maybe related to what we're talking about, but like I said, I want to give you practical examples so that at least you can understand what we're talking about. Now, you know what Checkers did, right? Checkers, instead of people going physically to the outlet, what they did is they came up with a software called 6060 app, right? Where you can just shop online, right? So that's what also other businesses are doing, because right now with this whole thing of social distancing, people are no longer going physically to companies, right? So now businesses, they are registering their business on the internet, right? So that individuals can research their product and purchase their product. That's why you see most of the time when you go on YouTube, there's a lot of adverts, right? It's companies trying to market their product so that you can visit their site, so that you can know more about their products. So that's companies using information systems, right? So companies of all sizes compete with each other, and the use of information systems helps the business to operate much more efficiently, right? For example, using what is called the business intelligence systems. So there's another part of information system that is called BIS, right? Which is business intelligence system. So this type of information systems, it uses what is called artificial intelligence, right? You pull a lot of data based on on the data that you have been generating the past year, right? And then that software based on that past data, it can streamline, right, your performance, or it can streamline your business so that you can operate more efficiently, right? So you come to find out not all businesses use this, but there are some businesses that use this business intelligence system. Then there's also what we call e-commerce, right? Where companies, they are now selling their products online, right? It's more like an electronic shop, right? Instead of you going into a physical shop, like the example I was giving, 6060 app, you are now shopping online. You are using the internet to buy. So companies now, they are using the information systems to advertise online in order to reach a new web-based customer. That's why you see that every time when you go on YouTube, there's a lot of ads that come your way, to such an extent that nowadays, even if on your phone, when you download an application, a simple application, but once in a while, it has got an advert. Once in a while, it is an advert, as long as you're connected to the internet. Why? They're trying to reach a customer. So they are taking advantage of information system so that they can operate, they can operate more efficient. All right. So now let's talk about the three main activities of information system. So like I said, the reason now why we are seeing the word information systems a lot now is, I told you that this course, it's information management, but you can't do information management without information systems. So basically, what this course is talking about is dwelling much on information systems that you will use to do information management, right? So you will see that the word information systems will come up a lot, because that's what we are talking about. These are the systems that you guys will be using, right, in your companies, in order to what? In order to do efficient information management. So now let's talk about three main activities of information systems. So what you need to understand is there's what we call input, right? Then there's what we call process. Let me try to zoom this. What did I do? Okay. Okay. All right. So there are three what? There are three main activities, right? The first one is the input, right? Under input, you are gathering and capturing raw data, right? For example, let's say that you want to, let me see, you want to, maybe you are using an HRIS, a human resource information system, right? What you need to know is you must have maybe data regarding your employees. So you need to gather and capture raw data, and then you put it into the system. So that is the input, right? You gather it, you are putting it within the human resource information system so that you can use that information. Then the next step that you are going to do is the process part, where you transform data into useful output, right? Because when you are putting in the data, it means that you want to use it for something. So under process, that's where you transform data into useful output. And that's where you manipulate data using mathematical or statistical tools. Then after you do this process, right, the next thing that comes into play is the generation or the presentation of useful information. This might be in form of documents or what, or reports, right? These are the three main activities. But however, there is another activity, right, which is called the feedback, where some of the output, right, is put back into the input, and then the whole process is repeated again and again, right? So basically, there are many times where your lecturers, I have seen questions, right, in information management, where they say, can you describe the components of the information? This is what we are talking about. This is the component of the information system. You're talking about the input, you're talking about the process, you're talking about the output, and then you talk about what is called the feedback loop, right? So basically, that's what your lecturer will be asking from you. So this is another illustration, right? Where we are saying we've got input, right? And then we've got processing of the information, and then we've got the output. So this whole thing, right? These three components, right? They are under the broad term of information system, because remember, this information system, you need to input data, then it processes, then it plays the data, right? So what you need to know also is now, this is the organization. This information system is within the organization, but this organization now, it is in constant contact with suppliers, right? It is also in constant contact with customers. This is the external environment, right? Regulatory agencies, stockholders or shareholders, and competitors, right? So all these suppliers, customers, regulatory agencies, stockholders, and competitors, somehow the organization is going to incorporate this within the information system. That's why you see when it comes to suppliers, maybe an information system specialized in that. When it comes to customers, they've got information system specialized to that. For them to stay ahead of competitors, they've got a technology that will help them to stand out, right? Shareholders, you know, maybe they are helped with the decision support systems, and regulatory agencies, maybe they've got another information system that will help them. But in in doing that, right? So now let's look at what we call the 4-level hierarchy of information management, right? So what you come to find out, for some of you maybe that have their study guide open, you see that some of these pictures, you don't even see them in your study module, right? The purpose of these lectures is that we tell you some of the things that we are trying to explain what is within your study module to make it the picture more clear. So sometimes you take some picture somewhere that might explain a little bit deeper what is within your what is within your study module. All right, so there's what we call 4-level hierarchy of information management, right? So this 4-level hierarchy, what you can see on this side, on the left side, right? More like in form of a pyramid. So the base, that's where the workers are. Then after the workers, there's what we call middle managers. So you guys, that's where you guys will come here, right? From middle managers, senior managers, and executives, right? So they are middle managers, then they are senior managers, and then they are executives. So this 4-level hierarchy, right? On each level, there is a specific information system that they're going to use. So when it comes to workers, there's what they call a transaction processing system. For now, just know that there's a system like that. We're going to explain later on, because there's a section within your module where they're talking about all these information systems. So this transaction processing system, this interacts with the workers on the ground, right? Maybe the logging in and the day-to-day operations, so on, right? Then when it comes to middle management, these guys are the ones that mainly do the management work. So, right? So they've got what is called management information system. So this system is what helps them with the day-to-day management. Then above these middle managers, there's senior managers. These senior managers, basically what they do is they are into decision-making processes, right? So they've got a support system called decision support system, a DSS, right? So it helps them in what? In doing efficient decisions, right? Then the executives now, at the top, they've got what is called an executive information system that helps them with what they are supposed to be doing within a company. So that is the 4-level hierarchy of information management. So now let's look at what is called the dimensions of information system, right? So this information system itself, it has dimensions. So there's what we call organization, right? Technology and management. From the diagram, you can see that they all revolve around information system. So you can't talk of information system without these 3 dimensions. As long as there is an information system, there must be an organization using that information system. There has to be the technology behind information system. Then there has to be the management, the people that use the information system. So basically, that's what they're talking about. So the information system is not self-existing, right? It has dimensions surrounding it, which is the organization, the people, and the technology as depicted on the right side. So let's start by talking about the organization, right? The organization, the dimension of the organization. So in organizational dimension, management understands what is embodied in its information system relating organizational stuff like culture, norms, and values, core task of organization, hierarchy of organization. So basically what you are saying is in each and every organization, right, there are different hierarchies, right, that are used by companies. Some companies, they use flat, like a flat, we can't say flat hierarchy, but it's a flat system, right? And some companies, they use like an upward hierarchy, right? So organizations, they differ when it comes to the hierarchy of the information and the task of the organization and the culture itself, because cultures, they differ. So when organizations are using those information systems, they are quite aware of their organizational culture. They are quite aware of the organizational structure so that they can incorporate, that when they are using the information system. So management should understand that all decisions that are made depend on the information which is provided by information system. So organizations, they know, right? That's why the management is using this information system, because they know that the information that is coming from there is quite valuable to them when it comes to making decisions, right? So organizational dimensions of any organization are easy to understand for manager, because it is his line and he is better aware of the culture and norm of his organization. So the managers themselves, right, they are the ones that are well aware of the organizational culture and the organizational okay, someone was writing on the screen. All right, well, there's someone who's experimenting. All right, no, that's fine, guys. All right, so let's look at the other dimension, which is people. So information system assists a manager to allocate resources, hire staff, motivate staff, realize risky areas, and allocate experienced staff of such risky areas. So remember, we are saying there are people within the organization that have got to be managed, right? So managers are assisted by information systems to know how to allocate resources, how to hire staff if it is an HRIS, to motivate staff, and realize risky areas. So information systems are there to assist managers with all of that, right? Information system assist managers to see different designs of products and to make new products, right? There's something called product development, right? They are information systems that are specifically designed for that, right? So managers, they can actually, take advantage of those type of system so that they can design products and make new products, right? Managers use different techniques from information system to reduce the cost of its product, like target costing technique. Organization produces its report, and then financial systems and forecast by the help of information system. So sometimes you can see that maybe the company might want to forecast, right? Maybe they want to see if if they can generate more profit for the next, how can they generate more profit for the next 2-3 years? So they can use these information systems to help them with that, right? All right. So technology is relatively inexpensive. It is the people of the business who are expensive, because people are the ones involved in business problem solving and transforming the technology into a powerful business solution. So basically what the statement is just saying is sometimes the technology itself might not be inexpensive, but the people that are using the technology, because technology without a person using it, right, it is useless, right? There has to be a person with the expertise. There has to be a person that knows, that has been trained to use those information systems, right, to do business problem solving and transforming the technology into a business solution. That's where the technology dimension comes into play, right? Where we are saying the technology dimension of an information systems, we talked about that, right? Where we say that it has a hardware and it has a software, and some maybe later on it might also have some telecommunications network, right? So management, they use technology dimension to store its data in a safe custody, right? So basically that's mainly what the technology dimension is all about. So when you see another question again coming, where they are asking you to talk about the dimensions of information technology, those are the 3 dimensions, right? Here we're just hitting the high spots, but you need to go and research and find more information where you can talk in depth how the organization can use information system, how the people within the organization use the information system, and how that technology also helps within the information systems itself, right? So now let's talk about how information system will affect business careers, right? So there are accountants, there are marketing, there are operations management themselves, and then outsourcing and offshoring opportunities. So these are the examples that are listed within your study module, right? So we want to see how information system will affect the business careers of these 5 departments, right? So let's start with accountants, right? So accountants, what you can see is accountants, they are basically they have to give a summary of transactions, right? Handling financial records, tracking transactions, and using report systems and financial analysis. So before the age of information systems, accountants were the ones that were responsible for doing all these 4 things, right? But like I said, I gave you an example of payroll. Payroll, when one person, right, one person comes, he just punches in, he inputs the information, right? It does the handling of financial records, it tracks the transactions, and then it produces the reports. It does the financial analysis and gives the summary of transaction. So the information system is doing all of this, right, within one click, or maybe within a few clicks of a button, right? So you can see that the information systems can actually do this better than what? Than a person. So though it comes, right, with a cost where maybe some people might lose a job, but the system itself, it can help, right, the department, so that, you know, the summary of transactions, they are accurate, right? There are no misrepresentations of what? Of financial records and transactions. So, then when it comes to internet, to market, so marketing, you can see that nowadays there's what we call internet advertising, like the one that I was giving, where you go on YouTube, you see full of adverts. When you go on certain sites, just see all those adverts. When you go on Facebook, there's now what they call Facebook marketing and so on. It's internet advertising. People are taking advantage of the information system to do marketing, right? And also the company are using, right, information systems to interact with the database of product, right? Where they can, you know, the information system, it can go within the database to see maybe which product is being sought after, right? It's easy to track using what? Using an information system. Then there's also product performance through customer feedback. So you can see that a customer can directly go to your website, and then, you know, they can give you instant feedback. No, I wasn't happy with this product because of such and such. What? It's part of what? It's part of marketing. And then there's what we call customer relationship management. What I was talking about. How companies now, they relate with their customers. There's actually a software that is dedicated for that, which is under part of marketing. The marketing department is the one that will be using that. Then the management, right? The management, the information system, they help the management to enhance the productivity, right? It also helps the management to streamline business processes, right? Because now, like for example, when people are using what is called business intelligence system, these systems are so accurate, right? Because they are using artificial intelligence. They're so accurate that the chances of them making a mistake are very slim, right? So that's where this streamlining of business processes comes into play, right? And then also to control the business, because sometimes you can see that maybe the business, it is having a lot of processes at once, and maybe one person cannot be able to track, right, what is happening throughout. So an information system can be made for, or tailor-made for a company, so that it can control all the various processes, right, that are within a company. Then the last one is what? Outsourcing and offshoring opportunities, right? So there are information systems that are obtained, right, that are used locally, maybe here in South Africa, right? But they are not made in South Africa. They would have been made maybe in US, or they would have been made maybe in another country, which is not South Africa. So when we're talking about outsourcing, right? Outsourcing, you're saying that there's something that the organization does not have, right? But it is now going outside the vicinity of its borders to find help from external people that can help them in that particular area, and then they help them in their company. So a company can actually find another company maybe within South Africa that can help them with information systems to do a certain work, or sometimes they can find a company that is maybe beyond the borders of their country, right? So that they can help them with information systems that can help them to streamline business processes. So that's what it means when we're talking about outsourcing. So this outsourcing, it depends on the needs of the business. You cannot just outsource, right? Help from an external organization. It means that you have a specific need that you as a company could not meet. At the same time, maybe you didn't want to what? You didn't want maybe to approach a software developer to make a software tailor-made for you. So you look for a company, right, that already specializes in those type of things. They already have the software similar to that which you are looking for, right? And then you go and you ask for their help. Then they come and then they help you, right? So the other thing also is it is cheaper to create software offshore due to low wage, right? So maybe, for example, maybe a company, instead of hiring software developers, right, to create a software for them, they go in, and then they sit down and they say, maybe we have heard that maybe in Switzerland, right, that the software developers they can make softwares, right, information systems at a low price, right? So what they do now is they opt to hire software developers from Switzerland. That is the reason why I'm not saying it's related, but just to allow you to understand this. That's why you see that companies maybe like Facebook and Apple, their headquarters, they are not maybe in America. Their headquarters, they might be maybe in countries that they've got low tax rates, right? That's the reason why you see headquarters. There's this company has got headquarters in that country. This other company has got headquarters in another country. Why? They're trying to evade tax. This is because of this issue maybe of low tax rate and low wage. So that is the reason why they are saying sometimes it is cheaper, right, for a company to create software, not within maybe its country or within the organization, but maybe outside because of low wage. So the last slide now, before we close this session, we're talking about information systems and your career. How information system will affect your specific career, right? So business majors are affected by the skills required for specific majors to create information systems. So information systems, for them to function, there's got to be someone who has the skills, right, to operate that information system. So what you need to realize is that whatever your major is, you should be well aware of information systems and how they will achieve business objectives. That's why you see when you are doing the advanced diploma of business management, there's a course specifically for information systems, because you need to know whatever your major is, you still need to know of information systems that are applicable within your major, because that's how information management is done on the ground. There has to be somehow an information systems that is inclined within your major. So you must have the skills. That's why sometimes, countries, companies, they have got to take people to workshops. They'll tell you, oh, you're not supposed to go to a workshop, you're supposed to be trained about this. Why? Because they want people to be well updated, right, with what is happening currently, right, within their different departments. So the careers we choose also rely on the central role of a database and the role of the database in a firm. You will show your skills in the analysis of information and how it will be used okay. So basically what they're trying to say here is you just, at the end of the day, you just need to have the skills, right? Skills for whatever major you have or whatever specialization you have at your organization. You need to have the skills to be able to use the information systems that are applicable to your major, applicable to your department. So guys, that's all that I have for you, this evening. So I'm not sure if there's anyone with a question, right? This, like I said, this module is a little bit of theoretical, but like I said, I'll try by all means. I think you saw